Do you truly desire to connect with your spouse? I mean, really deeply, fully connect with your spouse and take your relationship to a whole nother level? You need to understand rapport versus rapport communication. And we're going to get into it right now in this episode of the Fallible Man podcast. So let's get into it. Here's the $1,000,000 question. How do men like us reach our full potential and grow into the men we dream of being while taking care of our responsibilities, working, being good husbands, fathers, and still take care of ourselves? That's the question, and this podcast will help you with those answers. My name is Brent, and welcome to the Fallible Man podcast. Welcome to the Fallible Man podcast, your home for all things man, husband, and father. Big shout out to Fallible Nation. You guys make this possible, and a big warm welcome to our first-time listeners. Thanks for taking the time to hang out with us. I am the Fallible Man, Brent Allen, and welcome to the podcast. Today, I want to talk about marriage. Now, if you have any experience with the opposite sex, then you already know we're a little different in some ways. But they're amazing ways, right? But we're also a little different in some really confusing and sometimes frustrating ways as well. I've been investing and learning about relationships since I was a kid. My dad was a preacher, so I grew up going to marriage enrichment seminars. I can remember as far back as 10 years old, sitting in marriage enrichment seminars and lectures. Now, I'm still learning every day. At 42, with 21 and a half years of marriage, I still am working at it because it takes work every single day to make a marriage work. One thing that will help us in this quest to make our marriages the best possible is to understand the difference between report talk versus rapport talk. Now, let's see if we can make this really simple, okay? Report talk is precisely what it sounds like. It's, I want the short form, straight report. This is what's happening. This is what's going on. This is what's coming up. This is what we need to do today. And this is what our schedule looks like. Click, 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 click. That's it. Okay. That is report talk. Rapport talk is conversational. Sorry if I messed that up a few times. Rapport talk is all about connecting at a mental and emotional level as we discuss how things are going, not that things are going on, how things are going on, how we feel about that, how it's affecting us mentally, emotionally, spiritually, even physically. It's getting in touch with not only our feelings, but our own awareness about how we perceive the world and how we view things, right? This is a deeper level of conversation. It's not a bad thing, guys. Don't be scared. Now, gents, we're capable of rapport talk. Let me state that up front. We are absolutely capable of rapport talk. The majority of us default to report talk. I do this all the time. It's the old Dragnet series, right? I'm dating myself here. Just the facts, ma'am. We want the breakdown with all the questions answered so we can assess the situation and what's coming, see what is required or needed of us, adjust our plans, adjust to solve problems, and then move forward. I'm really bad about this sometimes in my marriage, and I have to remind myself that this is not what my wife is looking for. I was even worse about this before I started working from home. When I was going to an office or another building all day long, right? This was so bad. I come in, my wife's like, "How was the day?" I'm like, "What's going on?" This was my default answer. Now, women can be the exact same way. I know women like this. For those of us who default to this state, we need the report, and it needs to not add any pressing issues for us to move past report talk. So if you're the person who values rapport talk, then you need to have things in a place where the report, because we need that report when we come in, understand that's what we're looking for, and we won't stay there. Just give us the report, and as long as it doesn't add anything that's pressing, we can then move into another dynamic. Now, a large portion of women are looking for rapport talk. And guys, if you really want to connect meaningful in a meaningful way with your spouse. This is really critical. She wants to feel heard. She wants to feel like you're interested in her and not just behind closed doors, guys. She connects through conversation and talking about things. Now, important note, she wants you to listen, not necessarily fix it. So rein in that urge, gents. She'll let you know when she wants you to fix something, but she wants you to listen and she wants to be heard. Don't try and fix things. Ask meaningful questions, engage in the conversation. Make eye contact. This is really uncomfortable for us because we're side-by-side communicators as opposed to face-to-face communicators as men. But make eye contact with her. Ask her questions after she makes statements and leaves a space for you to respond. Actually engage. I promise this will help. Now, here's how we go about this if this is a foreign concept for you. How well do you sleep at night? Do you toss and turn and wake up more tired than when you went to bed? Sleep is commonly one of the critical elements people fall short on in their life. The quality of sleep you get directly affects your ability to control your weight, your ability to add muscle, your stress levels, and your everyday job and life performance. If you're ready to move to the next level, then sleep has to be part of the plan. Check out our friends at ghostbed.com if you're ready to get your best sleep. I love my ghost bed. I've been sleeping on one for a couple years and has made a huge difference in how I sleep. Hit ghostbed.com and use the code TheFallibleMan30 to get 30% off your order and start getting better night's sleep tomorrow. Now, let's go on to the show. Number 1, make time. I know you're busy. I know you're both busy. So I want you to invest in your marriage because you want to invest in your marriage if you want to stay married. Schedule in time. Literally put it on your calendar. Make it a priority time on both your calendars. If she is aware that she has time reserved on your calendar, it will both make her more confident in your marriage. It will also reassure her that she's a priority. It will also cut down the times when you have other stuff to do and she decides to cut in and try and get time there if she already knows that she has specialized time. This will help you both focus when you're together and make your communication easier because you're prioritizing it. Number 2, show her it's important. If she tries to talk to you during a bad time, and I have to do this a lot, tell her, honey, insert the pet name you use for your wife. Maybe use something else, baby, whatever. Maybe you actually say her name. That'd be cool, right? Honey, I need X amount of time to wrap up what I'm working on right now. It's really important to me to focus on what you're saying, and splitting my attention right now will not allow me to devote the focus on you entirely. And that's important to me. If you can give me, reinsert X amount of time to wrap this up, I will be able to focus on you 100% so I don't miss anything. Is that okay? You have to follow up on this. If you insert X amount of time, you better deliver. Okay. I do this not only with my wife, I do this with my children when I'm busy doing stuff. So it's good practice and it will help her to not interrupt us much. You're more often going to get her, hey, when you wrap that up, can we talk for a few minutes? You're more likely to start getting that kind of interaction than just her interrupting at a spur of the moment time. Number 3, practice good listening, not active listening, good listening. And let me clarify that for you guys. One stumbling block for conversations is interrupting for clarity while they're talking. Now, I get it. If you don't say it right at the time, you may forget it because you're going to cover a breadth of information. However, wait for clarification till they're done speaking. Don't interrupt her for that. That will frustrate her. Hopefully, she'll extend you the same courtesy, and that will be great. Practice face-to-face posture. As I already said, this is not normal for men. This is not a natural feel. We do this. We do side-by-side communication. This is more comfortable for us as men. She does this. So practice face-to-face posture when you're communicating with her. Make eye contact. Lean into the conversation, like physically lean in a little bit. Smile at her as she's talking. If she's close enough, touch her hand lightly. are her shoulder or wherever, her knee, not sexually, just touch, contact. No phones, no screens, no other interruptions. Then you can ask meaningful questions for clarification and respond appropriately. Give her your undivided attention. This is the difference between good listening and active listening. Active listening actually has you interrupting people, and I don't like it. Number 4, help her understand the rapport talk that you might need when you first come in, and explain to her, this is why I need it. I need to know so I can get my brain in sync that I don't have more to do and everything's okay in my world. In exchange, to make sure she knows that she's going to get rapport talk once that is done and once you're moving into the next phase. And both of you have to deliver on this. And by goodness, just be grateful she wants to talk to you, because there's a lot of marriages where that's just not happening anyways. Guys, apply these things to your conversations with your spouse. This even works in a dating relationship. So if you're not married, that's fine. If you're just in a relationship, trust me, this will go a long way in any intimate relationship with a female. I promise this makes the rest of life even better too, because if she is feeling heard and listened to, that's a big turn on for her. So you're going to get more of that behind closed doors time that we talked about earlier as well. Guys, give it a try. Let me know what you think. Be better tomorrow because of what you do today, and we'll see you on the next one.
This has been the Fallible Man Podcast, your home for everything man, husband, and father. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a show. Head over to www.thefallibleman.com for more content and get your own Fallible Man gear.